this video, I'll be covering Sheet Set Manager basics. Overview. A sheet set is a powerful tool that can collect layout tabs from multiple drawings. These sheets live in the sheet set. You can add project information and sheet information that are linked to fields in your drawing. SSM is the command to open up Sheet Set Manager. By typing SSM in the command line, it brings up the Sheet Set Manager. You can click the drop down at the top to open an existing sheet set or create a new one. Right-clicking the sheet set's name, you'll see available options to edit the sheet set properties. Sheet set workflow. First, we'll type SSM command to create a new sheet set. Then we'll add sheet properties and then create fields within our title block. Inside of a title block, you can add attributes. Attributes are text within a block that can be updated independent of that block. Then within the attributes, you can add fields. Fields are special text objects that are linked to drawing information, sheet set information, or computer information. So let's get started in our drawing. Once we have things set up, we'll come back and take a look at a few more sheet set tasks. So here I have a drawing file in model space. I have a development drawing and some contour lines. I've created a sheet 1, which has a vicinity map or site map and some general notes. I have a sheet 2, which is the beginning of our road design, and sheet 3, which continues the road design. If you take a look at the title block, we have a drawing number, a page number. We have some information that can be typed into the title block. We have project name, APN number, project address, and then another field. So these pieces of text that have a gray background are called fields. And if we were to select this title block is actually a block. So if I go to properties, you'll see this is a block reference, right? So within the block reference, I have these attributes. If I double click on an attribute, let me escape real quick, double click on the attribute, it brings up this attribute edit window. There are multiple attributes in this title block, but for example, the sheet title right here, the value has this gray background to its text. And that gray background lets me know that it's a field. And again, a field is linked to some kind of information. In this case, to figure out where this is coming from, I can select the field. Oh, it's using this multi-line text. So I have to click this button first. Now I'm editing this attribute. When I select the gray field, I can right-click Edit Field. And in here, you'll see that information is coming from the sheet set. It's coming from the current sheet title within the sheet set. So we actually don't have a sheet set set up yet. We'll go ahead and create a sheet set, add these 3 sheets, put in some information, and then we'll see later on how this will link up to that information in the sheet set. So lots of things going on here. We'll come back to it. I just wanted to kind of show you what we're going to be working on. All right. So step number 1, we're going to create a sheet set for this project. So I'm going to use the Sheet Set Manager command, SSM, enter. This should pop up just like other palettes. You can move it around. You can dock it on the side. So I'll have it docked on the side. Up at the top, it says Sheet Set Manager, and then we have a choice in this drop down. We can open a recent sheet set, or we can start a new sheet set. So here's open, here's new. So we're going to create new. And then we get a few options here. We can start from an example sheet set that we've worked on in the past, or we can start from just existing drawings that we have right now. So I'm going to use existing drawings, and this project sheets drawing is the one I'll be using. I'll click next. I'll give it a name. Typically, the name of your sheet set matches the name of your project. I'll just call this development project. Description's optional. And then this is where it's going to save the sheet set. The sheet set is saved as a DST file. So I'll browse, I'll go to my desktop, and I've created this sheet set folder. I'll just put it in here. And there are sheet set properties that we will be editing, but you have one chance to do it right here, or you have a second chance to do it through this window. So I'll save that for later. I'll click next. In this window, it says select folders containing drawings. So I'm going to browse to my desktop. And then on my desktop, I have that folder I created, sheet set. It's going to be able to pick up all the drawings in this folder. So let's see, if I click OK, it picks up all of that. I only want to bring in my project sheets file, and it already has 3 sheets. These 3 sheets are coming from these 3 layout tabs. So I only want those checked. I'll click next. It's just a summary of what we just done. So we have the 3 sheets coming in. I'll click finish. And now if we look at sheet set manager, this is the name of our sheet set, development project. And here are the 3 sheets that we told it to bring in. Okay. So usually the first thing I want to do once I've created a sheet set is I want to rename and renumber these sheets. So number 1, sheet 1 is a title sheet. I can right click, rename, renumber. Here the number is 1, and here the title, I'll just call this title sheet. And then down here at the bottom gives us an option to rename the layout tab to match this title, right? So do I want this tab to say title sheet? And then also another option, if I say yes, I want to match the sheet title, do I want to prefix that with the sheet number? So it would say 1 title sheet right here on that tab. Sure, I'll go ahead and do that so we can see what that looks like. For each of these sheets, I could right click and rename, renumber, or down here we have a next button, and I can just go to the next sheet in the list. So one of the great things about Sheet Set Manager is that you don't actually have to open the drawing files. You can actually just open Sheet Set Manager, right click, and do all of your work right here, and that will automatically update those drawings. You can see I already have 1 title sheet for that tab. So I'll continue. This will be 2 road plan. I'll click next, and this will be 3 road plan continued. And so that's the end of my sheet list. I'll click OK. So not only are these renamed and renumbered, down here below, these tabs have also been renamed and renumbered. Right? If these were not in the correct order, all you have to do is click and drag them. So you can drag them into the correct order before or after, typically before you renumber and rename. Okay. Next thing I want to show you is what happened in the title block. So remember I showed you earlier, when I double click on this text, it's actually an attribute inside of the title block. And then when we saw this gray background to the text, we noticed that we could click this button, select the text, right click, and edit the field to find out where that was coming from. And so we had already seen that it was coming from the sheet set, and it was the current sheet title. So once we updated the sheet title here, it updated the field right there. Right. So let's say I wanted to change the sheet title. Let me cancel out of here. Instead of title sheet, maybe I want it to be title page, right? We can right click on the name of the sheet, rename, renumber, and right here I can call this title page. Click OK. And if we don't see it update immediately, we can use regen, enter to regenerate that title. Let's take a look down below here. So this is coming from the sheet number, right? The page number. If I go to number 2, it says road plan, page 2. If I go to number 3, it says road plan continued, and page number 3. So the only field that I don't have working right now is this one, the drawing number. So to find out where that's actually coming from, what it's linked to, I can double click on this attribute. Inside of the attribute, we see that gray background for the text. So that's a field. I can select it, right click, edit field. And within this field window, it tells us it's coming from the sheet set, and it's actually linked to the current sheet description. So what I need to do is go into each of these sheets, the sheet properties, and go to the sheet description and put in the drawing numbers. Okay, so I'm going to cancel. Whenever you see a gray background, do not just type and override it. You want to make sure you know where it's coming from and then put that information in the correct location. So I'll go back to title page. I'll start there. Let's say this drawing is going to be C 1.0. So C for civil, first sheet 1.0. I'm going to go to the title page, right click. There's a bunch of options in here. I'll go over them in a second, but we're going to go straight to properties. Within the sheet properties, here's the title of the sheet, here's the number of the sheet, and here's the description, which is currently blank. So I'm going to put capital C 1.0, and when I click OK, if it doesn't update immediately, RE to regenerate, enter. There's my drawing number. So let me go to the second page, and then the second sheet right here, properties. Description, this will be C 2.0. Okay, regenerate, there it is. And on the third page, same thing here, right click, properties, description, C, I'll use 2.1 for that since it's the road plan continued. So 2.1, okay, regen, and that pops up. So the benefit of using this method, if we have 3 sheets, it's not a big deal. I could just go put some regular text. But if we had like 50 sheets, right, and we had to add on a couple sheets to the end or move some sheets around, it's a big pain to go and open those drawings and go to each tab and change those numbers. A lot of times these drawing files get really large with surfaces and civil 3D objects. So a faster method is just to come here, update the name, the number, or even properties, and everything, all those fields that are linked to Sheet Set Manager will automatically update, right? The next time you open that file, it will regenerate and it will update. So you won't have to worry about, did we make a mistake on these numbers? Do I need to check all those numbers? It should automatically update. Okay, so there is another field that we could create that is actually not being used yet. So a few of them actually. So project name could be added and the total number of pages can be added. So let's take a look at doing that. If I right click on development project and go to the properties of the entire sheet set, we have some properties in here. So project name is actually one of the default properties, project name. I can type development project. So this is the name of the sheet set, but this is the name of the project, right? So there's project number, project name, project phase, project milestone. But We do not have a field for total number of sheets. That is something that could be added. So if I go to edit custom properties, CAD Masters offers online and classroom training for a variety of Autodesk software. For more information, go to www.cadmasters.com or give us a call at 925-939-1378. I can add a custom property and I get to call it whatever I want. So this is going to be called total sheets. And for the default value, I could put an X or I could put the actual number. So I know I have 3 sheets right now. I'll go ahead and put 3 in there. And we get to say, is this going to be the same for the entire sheet set? Is it always going to be 3? Or is this unique to every single sheet? Are some sheets going to say 3, some sheets going to say 5, right? So in this case, the total sheets will be for the entire sheet set. So when I click OK, it shows what I've created. Click OK again. It shows up here under sheet set custom properties. Total sheets is 3. So if I needed to change that, I wanted to add a couple more sheets, I can always come here and change this number. And it will update on every single sheet if I have it set up correctly. So let me just use 3 for now. I'll click OK. If I had done a custom property per sheet, not sheet set, then it would show up in these sheet properties down here as a custom sheet property. Okay, but I did add it to the total overall sheet set properties. I just haven't linked it to the title block yet. So let me try editing the title block. I'm going to click on this title block, right click, and I'm going to go to open it in the block editor. So now that I've opened it in block editor, I want to replace this text with an attribute and with a field. So what I'll do is I'm going to just move this over to the side for a second. I'll delete it eventually. From the Insert tab of the ribbon, we can define attributes. So the tag, the prompt, and the default. A tag is a name. A prompt is a question or statement telling a person what they should be typing. And then a default is a placeholder. So tag, this is total. You cannot use any spaces, so I'll use the underscore. Sheets. Prompt, we can say field linked to sheet set properties. And default, I could put a couple X's in there. I want that text to be centered. And I'll use this text style for now because eventually I'm just going to be matching this text style. So I'm not going to worry too much what it looks like right now. Not annotative, not rotated. I will lock the position so it will always stay in this spot. And I will need to specify my insertion point. So if you are interested in learning more about attributes, this is in our AutoCAD level 2 class, but this is just on Sheet Set Manager. So I'll just keep going here. I'll click OK. And it's really big. I'm going to put it down. And I'm going to just use match properties, MA enter, to grab this text style and match it to my attribute. Now I can delete the old piece of text and move this attribute from that center insertion point. I'm going to try my best to center it in this spot. And we can always move it later if we need to. All right, so that grip is kind of centered there. Another one that I want to create is for project name. So I'm going to move my project name over to the side. I'll make a new attribute. For the tag, this is project underscore name. Prompt, I'll say it's a field linked to sheet set properties. That way no one tries to type in the project name. And then default, just some X's. Again, I want that to be centered. Locking position, specifying on screen. Actually, I should have rotated it 90. I'll just place it first. Now I'll use RO enter, select the object, enter, pick a base point and rotate 90. Okay. Then I'll use MA enter to match this text style over to my attribute. Move it into place. Delete the old one. Okay, so I've just replaced project name and total number of sheets with attributes that actually they don't yet have a field. They're attributes, but they don't yet have a field. Okay, so it takes a couple of steps, right? If you go back to my PowerPoint here, we have a title block. We put an attribute into that title block, but within that attribute, we still need to place the field. And so best way to do this is to have your title block set up ahead of time before you make a bunch of sheets, right? Because once you start making those sheets, then you have to edit all the sheets. So if you do it ahead of time and you just copy this block or insert this block into the sheets, then it'll be ready to go. So for us, it is going to take a few steps. Okay, so I have the attributes. I want to reload this into my project. I'm going to close the block editor, save the changes, and see how it disappears. Anytime you edit a block and you're using an attribute, you must synchronize those changes. So in the insert tab of the ribbon, I have block definition, synchronize. From the command line, I'm going to use the select option, select the title block, and it says, do you want to synchronize this? Yes. Okay. All right, so now we can see we have text. It's using the default text. It does not have the field yet. It's not gray. If I double click on the text, it is an attribute, but it just has normal text in here. So I want to add a field into this attribute. So in this case, I'm going to right click, insert field. The field is coming from the sheet set, development project. And in this properties list, this is supposed to be the total sheets. The preview should say 3. Get that gray background and you get that number to show up here. So that's looking good. Up here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll double click on the attribute, delete the default value, right click, insert field. This is coming from sheet set, development project, and this is going to be the project name. The preview should say development project, and I'll click OK. So now that we have added attributes to the title block and fields inside of our attributes, if we were to rename the project, that would update here. And if we were to add additional sheets, we could update the number through properties and that could update here. So again, we should have done this at the very beginning because now I need to go fix it on page 1 and page 2 as well. So just give me a moment. All right, so I have all 3 sheets updated with those fields. So we were able to open the sheet set manager, take a look at sheet set properties, and I also pointed out sheet properties, which also includes the sheet name, sheet number, and we created fields in the title block using the properties from our sheet set. We went over how to create attributes and fields. And these are a few other tasks that we're going to go over. we can insert new layout tabs as sheets. So let's get started with that one. Right now I have 3 sheets. Let's say I want to create a 4th sheet. So a quick way to create a 4th sheet is to right click on my 3rd sheet and use move or copy. So this case, we want to create a copy of our current sheet and move it to the end of this sheet list. Once I do that, I get this 4th sheet. Right now, I'm just going to manually right click and rename that. I'll just call it sheet 4. And if I go over to sheet 4, it looks identical to sheet 3. So I'm just going to delete these viewports. And let's say this is going to end up being details and sections, right? So I'm going to leave it like that for now. You must save your drawing file. If you don't save your drawing file, Sheet Set Manager will not recognize it. So I've hit save. To bring in this sheet 4 into my sheet set, I can right click on Development Project and import Layout tab as a new sheet. I'm going to browse to my current drawing. It is here. And it recognizes that this is the one that is new. So it's already checked it for me. If not, I could check and uncheck as needed, but it knows sheet 4 is the new one. I'll click import checked. Right before that though, it has an option to prefix your sheet title with the file name. What that would do is it would say project sheets, sheet 4, right? So that's not necessary. I don't need it to have the title of my drawing file. Now import checked. All right, so it just brought in sheet 4. Remember, if it's in the wrong spot, you can click and drag it somewhere else. So I'll just keep it at the bottom. We can right click, rename and renumber. So this is going to be sheet number 4, and I'll call this sections and details. I'll have it rename the tab down here with the title and the sheet number. Okay, so here's my 4th tab, and here's my 4th sheet. And if I take a look and it hasn't updated, I can enter, regen all or regen. And then another thing that needs to be fixed, so all of this is okay. What needs to be fixed down here is the total number of sheets and the drawing number. So remember, the drawing number was the sheet description. So I can go right click, go to sheet properties. And in the sheet description, I can put, let's call it C 3.0. Regenerate. There it goes. And then the total number of sheets, remember that was in the sheet set properties. That was the custom property that we created here. So that will be now 4. Okay. Regen. So that's 4 of 4. If you go check the other sheets, we have 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, and 4 of 4. So every single sheet has updated because this is linked to the overall sheet set properties. Okay, let me save my work. Go back here. Another thing that I'll just mention, reorganizing the sheet list. Remember, you can click and drag the sheets into a different order. Inserting a sheet list table. So instead of manually creating a sheet index, and when sheet names change, additional sheets are added, you would have to manually fix that sheet index. You can actually add a sheet list table that will dynamically link to Sheet Set Manager. So let's go to sheet 1, and I'll put it right here. So from my Sheet Set Manager, I can right click on Development Project, and I can insert a sheet list table. It comes with its default styles. You can always edit those styles, but I'll go with the default for now. Actually, maybe I'll pick, oh, here we go, index of drawings. I'll use that style. All right, that looks pretty good. It's going to give me my sheet numbers and my sheet titles. I'll click OK. And I will place that right there. So this is what that style looks like. And if I, again, were to change something, so maybe my title page, I want it to say title sheet again, I can right click, rename, renumber, call it title sheet. That's the only one I wanted to fix, title sheet. If this doesn't automatically update, and it usually won't, you can select the title list or sheet list, sorry, right click, update table data links. So similar to a regular AutoCAD table, you would right click, update table data links. And now it's updated. And this is it for those tasks. Last thing here is subsets. So often a plan set of construction documents has multiple disciplines, has civil, has structural, has architectural, landscape. And so you might want to organize your sheets into different subsets. And maybe you only want to print civil right now. You don't want to print the entire sheet set. So we can name a subset, often by discipline, and we can drag and drop sheets into our subsets. So let's take a look at Sheet Set Manager. Let's say the title sheet is going to be for the entire set, but then road plan continued, and section and details are specifically for the civil discipline. I can right click on development project. I can go to new subset. I can name this civil. I'm just going to click OK there. So civil is a new subset. I'm going to drag section and details into civil. Road plan continued. Road plan. Oops. There we go. So title sheets for the full set. And then under civil, I have 3 sheets. So you can do many things with Sheet Set Manager. Let me show you. If I right click on civil, we can publish to PDF. We can publish to a plotter named in the page setup, right? We can e-transmit. If you wanted to print just a single sheet, you could right click on a single sheet and just publish that one to PDF or the plotter. If you wanted to open a sheet, it's not currently open, you can open a sheet from Sheet Set Manager. You can open it read only. Maybe someone else on your team's already working on it and you just want to take a look at it. You can choose to open it read only. When you see a lock symbol here, that means somebody has it open. If you're not sure who has it open, you can hover your cursor over that and it'll tell you. For me, at the very bottom of the pop-out, it says owner has it open. But typically your computer is linked to your name and it will have your username there. And you can send a message to your coworker, hey, you have this open, can you fix this for me? Or can you close it real quick so I can fix something? So this is also really, really useful when you have a team of people working on a project. So you can easily open, read only, or check out who's working on it. So I think that is it for Sheet Set Manager Basics. There are a couple extra tabs here, sheet views and model views, that we cover in our level 3 class. But I think that is it for today. CAD Masters offers online and classroom training for a variety of Autodesk software. For more information, go to www.cadmasters.com or give us a call at 925-939-1378.